Before cities and civilizations, people lived in nomadic hunting bands too small and too poor to fight wars. But about 5,000 years ago, agriculture created a food surplus and bigger populations. The new food surpluses fed not only farmers and artists, but also soldiers, the first full-time specialists in the art of war. Their job was to defend the land and water needed to feed a large population, or to take these precious resources by force. Other full-time specialists, priests and politicians, developed ideologies which glorified battle in the name of God and country. The roots of civilization were also the first causes of war. Since ancient times, the technology of warfare has become incredibly more destructive, but the causes of war, resources and ideas, have remained essentially the same. In 1945, the world was devastated by its most horrendous war and terrified of its most horrendous weapon, the atomic bomb. The United Nations was founded in the hope of preventing or at least limiting future wars. But the new organization soon found itself dominated by the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union competed relentlessly for world supremacy and kept their weapons of mass destruction unsheathed. The United Nations became an arena for East-West confrontation. Only the superpowers' nuclear arsenals prevented a Third World War. Nuclear weapons ensured that a U.S.-Soviet conflict would have no winner. Today, the Cold War is over. Many people believe that the end of the U.S.-Soviet confrontation will usher in a more peaceful world. But will it? Unfortunately, the so-called New World Order already has had wars of its own. The civil war in Yugoslavia began as soon as communism collapsed in Eastern Europe. This vicious conflict has killed thousands of people, most of them civilians, and turned thousands of others into refugees. It is the first fighting on the European continent since World War II, and it is the kind of war many fear will spread in the post-Cold War world, an internal war, within the boundaries of a nation, fought between ethnic or religious groups. The world is rapidly becoming more and more homogeneous, thanks to faster communication and travel. Yet many people feel threatened with the loss of their unique identity. The comfort of ancient loyalties and the depth of enduring hatreds means much more than a vision of one peaceful world. Religious fervor and ardent nationalism are the most powerful expressions of a people's primordial roots. In Yugoslavia, identity was the cause of war. Battle lines were drawn between Orthodox Christian Serbs, Catholic Croatians, and Bosnian Muslims. These ancient conflicts had far more reality than the modern nation of Yugoslavia, a creation of the great European powers which disintegrated as soon as Soviet authority in the Balkans crumbled. Ethnic and religious differences are also behind the bitter fighting between Christian Armenia and Muslim Azerbaijan over the disputed territory of Nagorno-Karabakh. In Nagorno-Karabakh, in Yugoslavia, and potentially anywhere on Earth, the end of the Cold War has unleashed ancient forces which have brought war, not peace. The post-Cold War world is rapidly redrawing its borders, and the redrawing of borders is a bloody business. It began in Eastern Europe and Central Asia, but there is no reason for it to stop there. In an age of immediate communication, one people's declaration of independence can instantly inspire others. Religion and ideology also appeared to be behind the 1991-92 showdown between the secular government and Islamic fundamentalists in Algeria. But in fact, that conflict was driven by another force which will plague the post-Cold War world, the explosive pressure of growing populations and dwindling resources.